Friends, it is my favorite shopping day of the year, Small Business Saturday. We're gonna head out to some amazing shops. Some are new, some are staples, but first we stop by a hotel called Poplus. And this has been on my radar for quite some time because they have this insane container display behind me. There wasn't any filming allowed inside, but they have a beautiful little cafe, amazing coffee. I had this little chocolate nuggety ball thing that is Swedish. And I looked up the pronunciation. It's called chokladbollar. So there you go. There's my best Swedish. That's my best Swedish for the day. But it was like this chocolate, yummy little nugget situation. So good. So now that we are sufficiently coffeeed and we've had a nice little time to sit and relax in the hotel, so let's head out to a special shop that I have been stalking on Instagram for quite some time. And today's the day. We're going in. We have arrived at Casa Di LaValle. I never know how to pronounce it, but I've been following them on Instagram for a number of years, and they recently had a shopping trip in France. So you know I'm coming in because my greenhouse is getting more French by the day.
Immediately, we are like moths to the flame. This candle smells so good. It is crazy. So Brian and I both decided we're walking away with that guy. Also, do you see how they have this beautifully perched on this column? This reminds me of the columns that Kobe had in his shop. He's the owner of Highway 9 Vintage. Okay, also, they have this line of candles, Lavoon. This evergreen smells insane. It is so good. And then over here, this one is called Ember. This one had a little bit more vanilla in it. It was really good. The other thing that I am definitely drawn to are all of these splatterware pieces, and they have them priced by the piece, which is so amazing. And for me, I feel like I can mix these really easily into my everyday. The other thing that they have is all of these beautiful Irish linen ornaments. These are spectacular. And then also tons of olive oils, black truffle popcorn, panettone. I mean, so good. And then here we are. If you are shopping for someone who is a puzzle fanatic like I am, this one is fantastic. And look, Masterworks from the south of France. What is going on here? These were the other things that I kind of came in just to drink in for a little bit. I'm really inspired by all of the French finds that are coming in for the greenhouse. And these are actually remnants of French tapestries. And she has several small ones that are framed. So you can see one of them right here. And then there's another one over here. And it's kind of this moody, lived in, very kind of antique aged situation. Heavy on the florals, heavy on the botanicals. So really, really inspiring. Okay, also this wall of rugs is incredible. And then down here, there were a couple other things that I'm really loving. They have several of these sweet little matchbooks. And look at this one paired with this beautiful wine-colored candle. Okay, the other thing that they have a little collection of are these charcuterie knives that I never know how to pronounce the name of this maker, but they are so fantastic. I'll show you the tag. Doesn't even know how to pronounce this. Langual, maybe? Unknown. But what I love is all of the different colors that are coming in. Here's another one of these gorgeous matchbooks. Love that. And then look at the bow candle stopper. This is another really good hostess gift. So great. You can tell I'm in the mood. Like, look at this. Loving this sweet little rack with all the hanging tapers. Guess what? 1920s French. All right, we are just, it's all coming together here, folks.
Okay, that was so much fun. I was just in, we figured it out, mystery solved. Casa Di LaValle. They're wonderful. They're so delightful and gorgeous, gorgeous curated items. I have picked out a couple things. Oh, here we go. Here's the front. I picked out a couple things for me, a couple things for gifts, and we're on to the next shop. But before I go, I am going to link all of their information below. They sell online. They have a gorgeous Instagram. And if nothing else, it is a total feast for the eyes. And so I will link all their information down below. This next adventure is really fun. We are at two places. This is a really cool little building, and there's two shops inside. So this is kind of like a kitty corner across from where we just were. And this is the location for General Porpoise, which is kind of cafe, donuts, all that kind of stuff. And then also a little tiny shop called Flora and Henri. And they've actually been in Seattle a really long time. I actually knew them from back in the day when they just had, gosh, I think they started with just children's clothes that were like drool-worthy heirloom children's pieces. So we're gonna have a take a look around, and I think Brian is standing in line for a donut already.
General Porpoise has the best light fixture. This is so cool.
You guys, the little wick candles, I have them in brass and I've got one in black, and I love them.
I am knee deep in French territory. I don't know what's happening here. This is so good. This is definitely like all of the premium indulgences in life, but such great curation of things. Look at these busts that are candles. Those are so fun. Holy cow. More of the wick candles. Wow. They've got great things here. A lot of Mount Washington pottery, but also Flamingo Estate. This is a company I have followed for quite some time. They've got an incredible book out and just really, really interesting things. This candle smells exactly like tomato vines. It's crazy. Oh my gosh, look at this calendar. It's a moon calendar. That is so gorgeous. I no longer have tiny babies in my life. However, look at this adorable romper. And actually, so 3 to 6 months, $40 for a beautiful heirloom piece like that. That is gorgeous. Such a sweet little corner of the shop. And so many great things. You guys, this wasn't even on the shopping list, but I just stumbled upon this bar and the florist is here putting in new arrangements. I have to show them to you. They are so good. Her rose selection is next level. It is my jam. I don't know if this is going to come through. I literally just stumbled across Bar Sosta. Look at those light fixtures. Those are so insane. I want to show you the floral arrangements that she's creating. She has so many incredible greens. I'm seeing eucalyptus, olive branches. This is so good. Okay, let's take a minute for that gorgeous rose. Really, really good use of texture. And all the little olive branches. Okay, gotta go. As per usual, Woodland Mod killing it with their little plant selection and all sorts of amazing gifts. So I have this teeny tiny little hory, and Woodland Mod is where Brian got it for me for Christmas a couple years ago. And they just have a little bit of everything. I think their selection of Milwaukee is the only selection I've seen in Seattle. So really, really good gift. And then these little tiny Japanese scissors. Man, this is a super splurge, $86, but they're so cute. They have the tiny hory. This is in Milwaukee. It's $55. It's the most expensive garden tool, but it is really sweet. And actually, it's perfect for transplanting and seed starting work. And then this book is a massive, massive book, but I have read it cover to cover multiple times. Can I just show you how thick this thing is? Look at that beast. This is definitely for the gardener who's constantly kind of educating themselves. They feature gorgeous gardens, a lot of different styles. So highly recommend. This is just a fantastic book. I found something I think I'm going to add to my own personal wish list this year. And it is a boot scraper. If you are new here, I am the single messiest person in my household. I'm constantly tracking in dirt. That would actually be such a thoughtful gift for a gardener because it's like we're always covered in dirt. Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous stuff for the home. Oh my gosh, look at this. It's a scent bag for Hinoki cypress. This is one of my favorite trees of all time. They have this amazing little kind of glass dish where you can smell the Hinoki. It smells so stinking good. I am absolutely getting one. This is it just is a heavenly scent. And then look at this. An aromatic bath mat. That is such a beautiful gift. And look at these gorgeous, kind of like stone inspired. That looks like a little bath mat too. That is a beautiful gift. Oh my gosh, you guys. New color for the wick candle. This is actually where we spotted the wick candle for the very first time. Oh my gosh, they have hanker bandanas. Okay, these are really, really cool bandanas. They're all just like hand printed. They're such awesome. It's an awesome company. It's women run and they do these limited releases. They're so gorgeous. And the colors and designs are all super botanical. You guys, I love a fern. This is so gorgeous. And this is totally Blechnum Spicant right in here. Brian just found something so dang cool. Look at this. It's called Erode. And it's like someone has reinvented how soap is appreciated and used. This is so cool. Essentially, it comes in this dish and you're meant to just like interact with it in such an organic fashion. That is so cool. Here's another little plant section. And you guys, they have all of my favorite tools of mass destruction. Okay, I have this little guy right here. It's a Japanese weeding sickle, or some people call it a Japanese weeding hoe. I love this thing. I feel like such a savage in the garden. It is so fun to use. And I'm kind of tempted now to get one of these bad boys and see how this incorporates into kind of my gardening life. I think this could actually be really cool for maybe dividing different things, hacking things back. Very, very cool. So look at all of these super interesting kind of portable lighting options. This is another great gift that I feel like anyone could have a use for. Look at that one. That is very sweet. Another really gorgeous shape. That is so sweet. They had another one of these in black. This is just a really subtle color. Again, no cord. Love it.
Next up is one of my favorite small businesses. This is Ravenna Gardens. This is a guilty pleasure. I love getting a coffee and wandering around, even if you're just window shopping, but they announced that they're doing 20% off everything for Small Business Saturday. So usually I just take you guys on the outside, but today we're going inside because this is like the perfect spot to find that special something for someone who's kind of hard to shop for, but really loves garden, home, all those good things. I did not even get in the door before I found one of the most, you guys, okay. One of my favorite camellias of all time. There are a lot, but like the list is like very precise. This is one of them. In fact, I noticed the bloom and I was like, oh Lord, I think that's it. This is a camellia. I saw at the Northwest Flower and Garden Show no less than 6 or 7 years ago, and I have never added it to my garden. And in fact, all of my wholesalers are sold out of it. You guys, this is a camellia called Buttermint. Would you look at that? Its blooms are a little bit more petite. It has a gorgeous buttery glow from the inside. This is one of the most sensational camellias. If you find this, this is a high value target. If you find this, you grab it because you almost never see it. And I don't know why it's not more in production, but my nursery had in just a handful of them. My assistant actually went out and bought one because she also loves this one. And I was too late. They're all sold out. So, Brian, this may be on my Christmas list. My gosh, and let's just see price, $138. But like I said, she's a high value target, so I'm not super surprised. Okay, give me all of the velvet ribbon this year. Just load me up. Oh my gosh. Coming in here, I already love everything that I'm seeing. And look at these displays all the way up to the ceiling. As per usual, everything is curated, gorgeous, a beautiful aesthetic. Oh my gosh, if you have a friend who is in their like feminine pink era, oh my gosh, look at this. Look at the little tiny mouse on skis. Okay, this is so cute. If my friend Tracy is watching, Tracy, this little guy is for you. How cute is that tiger? You guys, there's so much good stuff here. And look at these trees. I'm loving the paper flowers. Gosh, those are gorgeous. I'm loving the cheese. That is hilarious. And this little drinkware set is just spectacular. They literally have everything you need to bring a live plant for, say, a hosting gift. Like, this is always such a great idea. And I just cannot wait to go in here more. Look at all of these sweet little guys. Now, if in doubt, always grab a book. And a lot of these books I have owned, I've read cover to cover. Cascadia Revealed. This is one for someone who wants to like deep dive into our local flora, fauna. Of course, you guys, Cisco, he is the king. He is the reigning king of everything. Lori Bowl, she is incredible. She is based out of Oregon. I know her from the Garden Fling, and she has just been around forever and ever. I've heard a lot of talks. She does the blog Danger Garden. She's been around forever. I mean, honestly, we could keep going and going and going. Hilton Carter, always fabulous. Grow More Food. These folks are local. They're amazing. Black Flora, you guys. This is a gorgeous book. So literally, they have something for everyone and 20% off. Okay, one of my favorites, Wincliffe, because you know I'm a geek. This is actually a book I haven't seen, How to Garden When You Rent. So if you have a young person in your life who has maybe just moved into their first little house, little apartment, and they're looking to garden, but they're renting, this is a great idea. Of course, more books. However, I want to show you one of my favorite books of this year, and it is right here. This is The Gardener's Palette. This is Jo Thompson, and I think her use of color is exceptional. And this book is organized with all these beautiful colorways, kind of like you see here on the front, and it gives you super applicable plant combinations. So highly, highly recommend if you're someone who loves a curated color palette in their garden. You guys, this is catching my eye. Look at this. This is 75 yards of silk ribbon. That is insane. Like, why even buy the little kind of like streamery stuff when you can wrap a present in that? That is gorgeous. Look at all of that. That is beautiful. If you're not a velvet person, this would also be gorgeous decorating a tree. I love the raw edges. Oh my gosh. Did anyone else out there have a grandma who loved ribbon candy? Oh my gosh. $7.99. That is such an iconic classic 50s candy. Definitely seeing a massive trend with all of these gorgeous paper creations. But look at this. You guys, Ravenna does such a good job of curating all of their trees, their displays. This is peak holiday. The other thing that is always surprising to me, and I always forget about, is they actually have a lot of local makers. This one is Hemleva. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that properly, but she does really cool like earrings and pins. Look at this. I feel like the Monstera is one of her like most popular designs. But I love her stuff. She's going to be at a maker's market here in Seattle as well. So really, really gorgeous things. So how cute would these be for the Northwest Flower and Garden Festival? I don't know if you can see this, but all of the petals are separate. So cute. All right, one of the other best kept secrets I feel like here is they have an awesome selection of kind of like bar, cookware, cookery, so on and so forth. And actually, you guys, Joanne Lee Molinaro, she wrote a book called The Korean Vegan. And now this is her second book of recipes. This book is so good. And in fact, what's hilarious is Brian and I bought this exact, we both bought The Korean Vegan for each other for Christmas, like 2 years ago when it came out. Literally, we wrapped them up and gave them to each other, not even knowing, because we love Korean food. It's so good. Also, look at all of these. And this is the thing about Small Business Saturday. Could you go on Amazon? Sure, of course you could. But you could also come and support a local business that you really believe in. Love it. Now, I'm going to spin you around because I have discovered a new little idea. Check this out. If you have forgotten to do your paper whites, no big deal because they have them here for you. And I love that they're selling them where they are just in butted up stage, because if you get them bloomed out, they're not going to last through the holidays. However, this is actually what my eye was drawn to. Look how cute this is. They've just taken a little bit of cedar, a little bit of juniper, a gorgeous base of rock, and a little bit of water. This elevates your paper white game so much. I actually feel like I should probably do this next year. Also, look how they're tucking in little pine cones. I also love down here this inclusion of winterberry. That's dialed. Look at this, you guys. I've never seen them carry this before. They have stephanotis on that sweet little hoop. That is a gorgeous holiday gift. That is so beautiful. 5-inch stephanotis on hoop. Look at that. In typical Ravenna Garden fashion, they always surprise me with their choice of greenery. This is rose hips and manzanita. You guys, this is spectacular. If you were looking for a different look, this is definitely a whole situation. Look at that lichen as well. Okay, good job, guys. And because I can't help myself, I'm going to end my time here at Ravenna Gardens with a little spin around the exterior. One tip from me to you is whenever you're shopping like a nursery sale and they're doing a 20% off everything, one thing I actually really like to invest in are some like rusty metallic elements, some climbing structures. I just feel like that is a great investment. Like all of these ones here. They routinely carry a beautiful selection of rusted supports. So this is a great option too. Ooh. Edgeworthia. This is a beautiful. When you're choosing Edgeworthia, always look at the shape. Structure is king on a plant like this. They are pricey, $248. But Edgeworthia is one of those plants that you really enjoy when it's the most naked because it has just insane blooms. Look at that. Gorgeous. So much great color. Holy. And the first of the primula have arrived. So if you still haven't done your pots and it is not frozen where you are, there are still a lot of really great options. Also, if you are new here, I love a mum. I love a really interesting mum. And look at this one. That is so good. It is bronze in curve. So they just have it marked pretty generically, but my goodness, that is a sensational beautiful, Mom. And you know what? In my zone, I could probably plop this in the ground and it'd be back next year. Gorgeous. This is like a 2-for-1, right? So shopping at Ravenna Gardens and this trellis structure right here. This is the Frere trellis that I have in my front yard. I have the charcoal. It comes in green and lavender and like a dandelion yellow. This is a gift I've given to, in combination with like Brian and his siblings. We've done, this is a gift for both his mom and his grandmother. And what I love about this is it is so beautifully constructed. Mine looks exactly like the day I put the darn thing in the ground. And honestly, I have grown the best cucumbers ever on this thing. It is so sturdy. And also, I feel like it gives such a presence to the front garden. And I will grow veggies up this and it will act as a curtain. And so I can kind of like hide in my own garden. It's just phenomenal. So highly, highly recommend this. It hasn't showed an inch of age or rust or anything. It's just beautiful. And this is a local Seattle company as well. I will also add a link in the description below to Seattle Urban Farm Co. and the Frere Trellis. It is an affiliate link, but I love them dearly and they're great humans. They are great humans. And follow them on Instagram because they've got tons of garden content. I mean, just giving away information for free like crazy. As per usual, I bought sticks. Friends, it is the next day and I want to show you everything that we picked up. It was so fun getting out there and visiting shops that a couple of them haven't been to, a couple of them I hadn't been to in years, and then some of them are regular stops for me on my rounds. I just love them so much. Before we jump into everything that I purchased today, as a reminder, we are running our own small business sale. And this is running through end of day on Cyber Monday. So today, end of day, and it's 30% off everything in our shop. So whether they are our fabulous mirror tumblers, I love Mirror. They're such a great, solid Seattle company, really beautifully made. And then of course, all of our amazing teas, which are just so good. In fact, I was drinking Solstice last night after a full day of shopping around. And of course, we got some stickers too. All right, shall we jump in to the things that we purchased? One of the first places that we popped into was Casa di LaValle. And this shop, oh my gosh, you guys, from the second we opened the door, it was an entire experience. And in fact, from the second we opened the door, we knew exactly what we were gonna purchase. And that was this incredible candle. This is made by a company called Dutch Atelier, and this scent is their Harvest Gray. Okay, this was the most delightful scent. I love it when you find a scent that immediately Brian and I were both attracted to. There was no hemming and hawing. There was no convincing. It was like, we opened that door and we're like, oh, we want our home to smell like this all year long. This is a beautiful candle for the home. A very the scent is not overpowering, which is really important for me because I think sometimes they get too perfumey or soapy or spicy or sweet. And this one is just the perfect blend. Such a beautiful elevated scent. I almost feel like I need to buy a second one of these just to have on hand because invariably there's someone important that I forget to buy a present for. And I want a beautiful quality something when that occasion arises. Now, the next thing I got was actually something, it's a little bit of like an inside joke, but also I love to get an ornament for Brian and I, and it is this little cutie. It's an oak leaf, and what I love about it is it's delicate, it's handmade, it's beautifully crafted. It's actually made of Irish linen, and the oak tree is something that we both really love, and in fact, it keeps coming up kind of in our ethos. I don't even know how or why or anything, but what I do know is the oak keeps showing up for us. In fact, we were doing the show last year and we were next to my friend John from Homegrown Organics. And when we looked over and he was putting in his trees and there were all these evergreen oaks, we were like, yeah, of course. So it only felt appropriate that we commemorate 2025 with a gorgeous oak leaf. Now, the last thing I got is something that I should have picked up too. This is another one I should have picked up 2 of, but I grabbed this insanely beautiful matchbook. It has kind of like a floral motif on both sides. Doesn't this side remind you of kind of like a Dutch master's painting with the beautiful fruit and the florals? But I love a decorative matchbook. The tips of these matches are all beautifully colored. I loved that they showed this with taper candles because, again, really great gift if you are going to a party and you don't want to show up empty-handed. We're also going to use these as a staging item in the greenhouse for the Northwest Flower and Garden Festival because, as you know, I got the most incredible candlesticks of all time, and obviously I need an incredibly gorgeous matchbook to go along with it. When we stopped in at Ravenna Gardens, I actually don't have them out here. I already put them in my work van, but what I ended up getting from Ravenna was sticks. I literally bought a bunch of sticks because as you are watching this, I'm probably already on my way to one of my holiday installations, and that client loves a classic Christmas color palette. And so I leaned into just my staples in my classic container design arsenal. And that is ilex berries in the traditional red, as well as midwinter fire cornice twigs. Now, I will leave a link to my classic container design that I did a few weeks back, but Cornice Midwinter Fire, what I think makes it so exceptional is at the base of that plant, it actually has a glow. It has this like soft, orangey, creamy glow, and then it builds to bright red at the tips. And so what that does when you use it in an arrangement is it adds a lot of depth because it feels like the middle of your container where those twigs kind of originate from. It has a bit of a glow to it. And so it's one of my favorite cornices to use in container design. And then the ilex berries are fabulous and they are just well branched. And what I loved about Ravenna Gardens, let me just give another shout out to Ravenna. They are so detail oriented. When she was packing up my ilex twigs, she knows, like any good gardener, they all get tangled together, and she individually wrapped each one of the bundles. So, chef's kiss to all of you lovely people at Ravenna Gardens. This is another shop that I want to see for generations to come in the Seattle area. Towards the end of the day, we hopped over to Ballard. I actually popped into Blundstone. They have a shop there, and I didn't show this one, but I still want to tell you what I got. Last year when we were doing our shopping, I will link that video below as well, but I invested in a new pair of Blundstones that are their thermal line. So they have an extra layer of thermal protection as well as sheepskin footbeds. Well, I have worn them so much. I'm starting to see wear patterns through the sheepskin on my heels because I guess I'm a heel striker. And so I invested in a new pair of footbeds. These are their sheepskin footbeds. They've got arch support. I mean, these things are so crucial if you spend any amount of time outside in the winter. So picked these up, didn't show it, but of course, wanted to give a shout out to another company with a brick and mortar in Seattle. The next place that we picked up some goodies was from a shop in Ballard called Woodland Mod. This is a heavy hitter for me. It is where I go to whenever I am shopping for someone and I don't have a precise idea of what I'm going to get them. This is perfect for someone who loves home, who loves garden, who loves elegant design. They also have a ton of beautifully curated items that are Japanese in their origin and their inspiration. I mean, they just had so many amazing things. And I picked up 2 kind of random things that I didn't even have necessarily on my radar for this shopping trip. The first one, if you are new here, I am a lover of all things hinoki. It is one of my favorite scents of all time and eternity. It is one of my favorite trees to use in landscape design. The slender hinoki fits beautifully in urban landscapes. And I have a Salt and Stone deodorant that's bergamot and hinoki. I have a body stone by a company that's run by this woman, Kate McLeod. She has a hinoki body stone as well as these kind of like shower bombs that are so good. So when I found these hinoki sachets, this was an all-in item for me because I'm also a big sweater wearer. So these are gorgeous hinoki sachets, and this is beautiful for your sweater drawers, any drawer that you want to have that beautiful scent. And what's really cool is at first when I was looking at this, I was like, oh gosh, I wonder how they're sourcing this. They are actually using 100% natural forest thinning byproduct. So this is honestly what's great is this is stuff that's naturally been thinned out that would normally go to a compost heap, and instead they're making it into this gorgeous sachet. By the way, I feel like this would be a good gift for my mom. For both of my aunts, they would both love this. I mean, I can name about 100 people who love sweaters and love this beautiful cedar scent. This is just such a gorgeous gift for anyone. All right, the last item I'm gonna show you is one that has been on my radar for years. And I actually had this dream of having my own shop at one point, and I started making a list of the things that I would love to source. And among them was a brand called Hanker. And they do beautiful handmade prints. They are absolutely gorgeous and so individual. And they do a lot of runs of them, right? So they'll put out like a whole series of them, and they're very limited edition. And I picked up this bandana. They have bandanas, they have little pocket squares, they have little dog handkerchiefs. I mean, such cute stuff. But this one is their regular. Their pattern is called Chicory. And you guys, look at this beautiful pattern. It is also my color. I love a good teal. I love a blue. And I thought, at first I was kind of hemming and hawing about this, but I thought this is actually one of these, I call them landscaper chic items. I dress for work, right? I work physically for a living. And so a lot of times my workwear is more masculine in nature. And I still am kind of a feminine woman, and I love to have my nails done, although I never really get to do it. And I just thought this is one of those landscaper chic moments where I can tie back my hair. I can tuck it in my pocket. I can use this as also a traditional handkerchief if I wanted to, because the weather is getting cold. But I just thought this is a lovely way to dress up the everyday as well as my workwear and make me still feel like special and feminine even when I'm on a dirty, messy job site. So friends, thank you for coming along on another Small Business Saturday shopping adventure. If you want to see last year's, that is down below. I've got so many different gift ideas for gardeners. I mean, it's just like the options are endless. It is so much fun. And as a reminder, our sale runs through end of day today, and I would love, 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 love to ship you off some tea and maybe a tumbler. Okay, I'm gonna see you in the next one. And in the meantime, say hello to your garden for me.